Hi, I'm Liz from Focus Training. Now that you've received approval to implement a training and development program inside your organization, one of the top questions on both yours and your stakeholders' mind might be, how long is this going to take? As you might expect, that answer depends on a couple of different factors. The first factor that you should consider is the scope and scale of your program. So how many people do you have to train, and how quickly do they need to get trained? Fortunately for us, getting more comfortable in the virtual training environment has allowed us to have more physical stakeholders, more employees receiving training in the space at the same time. The virtual environment does not solve for all of those issues though. If you're implementing a program that needs to be rolled out to, say, all of your frontline staff or every leader inside the organization, there's rarely going to be opportunities where you can take every single person out of their role for an entire session. So in that case, you need to filter it out over time and pace things out so you still have enough people with boots on the ground doing the work and other people in the training session. The other component to consider as you're developing this is the scope and scale of your team. Do you actually have enough trainers to roll out the program as quickly as you hope? Many of people in training and development are small teams or training teams of one. That means that you have physical resources that are unavailable to train all day, every day, because I got to imagine that many of us are training more than one program. That can help be remedied by partnering with an external vendor like Focus Training. But again, making sure that things are paced out to be able to meet both the scope and scale of the program is really important. Many times it's also helpful to pace it over time in order to allow for further retention inside the organization. If you do this all at once, you might not see people utilizing it 3 months down the line, 6 months down the line, or a year down the line. If you have it paced over time, you're having stakeholders all across the organization that are constantly getting this information, bringing it back to their team and utilizing it. The other component to consider is the level of customization that you want for your program. If you're looking for more of an off-the-shelf standard module, that can be turned around pretty darn quickly because the foundation already exists. But many times when you're thinking about a full organizational rollout, a foundational level of a big culture shift, that requires a custom build. And if you partner with somebody like Focus Training, that also requires an organizational assessment. So we go in and make sure that we have the context and content that's relevant for your team. So that program feels like a true extension of your brand, and your stakeholders that are going to be attending that program really understand and they see themselves in the program. It's still not a terribly long time, but can take from around 1 to 3 months for the organizational assessment and then the build from there. So as you start developing your plan and implementing your program, keep some of those questions in mind. What's the scope and scale? How many people do I need to have come through this program? What does my training team look like? And how deep of customization do I want for this program? As always, Focus Training loves to help design and build these programs, and we are happy to help with any questions that you have.